Hey, what's going on, guys? Os with Honda 60. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, if you're buying a new WRX and you're not hanging on to it for a long time, I worry that these cars are not holding their value very well. Let me share with you guys some of the offers that I had. Obviously, you guys know my BRZ order fell through. I've got other cars and other things that I'm working on. But let me share with you guys what a Subaru dealership offered me for the car, as well as some other cars. So that way, if you're buying a WRX, and honestly, a lot of this is my mistake because I paid too much for the car. For those of you who are getting good deals on these cars, you're probably gonna be okay. But if you're like me and you paid close to MSRP or just under, you're gonna have a hard time and you're gonna eat some money. Let's see how much money that is. But before I get into all those details, I have new wheels on the WRX. Let me share with you guys just some screenshots and some quick clips of just the new wheels on this car, because it completely transforms how this car looks. If you guys are new to my channel, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's get after it. All right, guys, so obviously the car market is not like it was. During COVID, during everything, you could get amazing values for your car. I sold my Supra above what I paid for it, MSRP. A lot of cars I could drive for 6 months, a year, and I could almost get all of my money back or most all of it back. Now, obviously times have changed, so I definitely want to preface it with that. There's a lot of cars that are going through this. However, as I've owned my WRX, I took delivery of it in January, and I bought it for $36,582. Now that's including dock fees, that's including everything. I have the premium, it has the sunroof and the Harman Kardon stereo, and then it had all-weather mats and a couple other things. So when you add in like dock fees, when their dock fee was $300 or $400, when you add in government fees, registration fees, everything, you know, but before taxes was that 36,000 plus mark that I just shared with you guys. So I'm under the impression that I worry these cars are not holding their value very well. So here we are, May. I have put 2,658 miles on my car. The dealership that I bought or was going to buy my BRZ from, that it fell through, I was considering, hey, let me just see what you guys give me trade in, because I hate paying sales tax. You know, I've timed it well on some cars, and some cars I've done poorly. When you trade in a car, you are able to save on sales tax depending on states. So if you buy a $30,000 car and they give you $30,000 for your trade-in, you're paying $0 in taxes depending on the state that you live in. But when you get up around the $30,000 range, especially here in Utah, $36,000, I think taxes were like $2,700. Now, in some instances, that's really high. In some instances, that's low, just depending on the state that you live in. So I was curious what they would give me for this car. And so after owning the car I got it like right at the end of January, you know, almost, you might as well just say February 1st, February, March, April, May, 4 months. And they offered me just barely over $30,000. It was like $30,000 and $200. So in the span of 4 months, when I look at just the price of the car, you know, with the options, with some of their fees and whatnot, there were no accessory fees or anything like that. The car has dropped over $6,000 in value, $6,300 and change over the span of 4 months and just over 2,000 miles. Now, I would say that's aggressive. When you look up Kelley Blue Book on this car, it ranges anywhere from like $29,000 to $32,000 clean trade-in. But if you really look at what's going on with the WRXs, if a dealership gives me $32,000 for the car, I don't think they're going to make a profit on the car, because I don't think, unless the dealer just wants to sell it for $33,000 or $33,500 and maybe make $1,000 or $1,500 and move it quick, sure, maybe that's doable. But there's no way they're going to give me $32,000 for it and try to get this car sold for $35,000 or $36,000. It's not going to happen. It's not. And what's diminished, I think, the value of the car is how many dealerships and how much inventory Subaru has flooded the market with. Is they just, there's a lot of cars out, and a lot of dealers have discounted these cars very heavily. So is the WRX losing value? Sure, it lost $6,000 of value in 4 months. I think realistically, I would say $3,000 to $4,000 is more realistic in that time frame. I'm not under the assumption that you're not going to own a car. The second you drive off the lot, you're going to lose money on it. However, to lose over $6,000 to a Subaru dealership who knows my car, who I bought the car from, that seems pretty aggressive. And just for giggles, let me run kind of the Kelley Blue Book value on a couple cars. Honda Civic SI, and let's also do a GTI. Let's see how much those dropped, because I know Honda is going to hold its value really well, but let's just go ahead and see the differences. So I'm putting in these cars as 2022s, and I'm putting in roughly the exact same mileage as my car, give or take 100 miles. The Honda Civic SI trade-in value was between $32,000 and $34,000. That is MSRP or above. Kelley Blue Book came back for like the 29 to 32 range for my car. So obviously seeing some discrepancies. Let's see what the GTI does. So the GTI, let's see how it did in terms of Kelley Blue Book. It got almost to $34,000, excellent condition. So I tried putting the same miles, same colors, same everything. I did the SE trim because I felt that was very comparable to my premium trim and how it's optioned out. I can't remember pricing of the SE trim. I want to say they're about $35,000 to $37,000, just depending on some of the options you do or don't have. Also depends on the dealers and where you can get them. But where it almost got to $34,000, the WRX is like $32,000 and some change. The GTI still, in my opinion, not as good as obviously the Honda Civic SI, but in terms of the GTI, is doing better than WRX. Now the SI, I could even make an argument for that, probably worth maybe paying over sticker, because technically car's still going to be worth a lot of money according to Kelley Blue Book. But I also think a couple other things play into account here. Interest rates. I don't think a lot of dealers are really necessarily wanting to buy a lot of cars. Interest rates are high. There's a lot of factors in this, but to lose $6,000, that seems high to me. So I definitely have concerns about the value of the WRX holding up long term. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm crazy. $6,000 and change, $6,400. That just seems like a steep drop off in 4 months. I know when you immediately drive it off the lot, you lose money. So I'm not even factoring taxes into this. When I put taxes into this, I was like $39,500, I think, total into the car. So if I'm looking at financing a car for $39,500, I get $30,000 for it. That's almost $10,000 difference. So regardless or not, probably stuck with this car unless you can get $32,000 for it. Let's say you save $2,000 or $3,000 in sales tax, then that bumps up the value of the car to like $34,000, $35,000, depending on what you owe on it. You can kind of make or break from there. But let me know if I'm wrong, guys, and what you see. Now, what I want to share with you guys is I'm going to throw up some screenshots for you guys from a couple main sites. So I looked at Carvana, and I also looked at Vroom. Now, Carvana, historically for me, living in Utah, has always been the lowest. Vroom has always offered the most. And you can see between those two, I don't have the exact figures in front of me, the offers ranged from 29, mid 29s, high 29s, like 29.7, to I think Vroom was like 30, just over 30. So, you know, could I try to sell the car privately? I definitely could, probably get 33 for it, maybe 34 for it. But if I can get a dealer that gives you 32, you get the sales tax, you're actually more advantageous for doing that. So I'm not here to rain on the WRX's parade. I think this car is vastly underrated. I think it is amazing. All I am sharing for you guys, if you're not getting these cars well below MSRP, and you're trying to sell the car within a year, you're probably 2 years worth of payments or so, year and a half to 2 years worth of payments, depending on the loan term, and there's a lot of variability to this, before you can really just like walk away from the car, because the time of COVID is gone. And I also think these cars, for whatever reason, to drop almost $7,000 in 4 months, that's a lot. That's a lot of value. Now, I know everybody needs to make a profit. Dealers need to make a profit. I always figure if they buy a car from me, they're going to tack on $2,000 to $3,000 in order to sell it. That's reasonable. And I get that they have to make money. Now, maybe they might make $1,000 off of it. Who knows? But like my Supra, I watched my Supra sit and sit and sit and sit because I knew the offer they gave me was too good and it was too high. And they ended up lowering the price to what I paid for the car. And I bet you all said and done, they probably took a couple $1,000 bath on that car, from holding the car, from keeping it. I guarantee they didn't sell it for that amount. And so it's definitely a lot of factors to consider. But this isn't a negative WRX video. I'm just saying, if you guys aren't getting this car for well below MSRP, you better plan on hanging on to it for several years. And probably a lot of you are. Probably a lot of you aren't like me, who goes through cars every 6 to 8 months to a year. And am I looking to offset this car? I'm not. I was just curious as the BRZ came in, because I hate paying sales tax. And I was like, well, if I can get out of this and maybe I just drive the BRZ for a little bit, gets better gas mileage, but it just didn't make sense financially, so I didn't want to do it. And plus, I'm not done making the content that I want to for the WRX. So guys, let me know what you found out there. If some of you have bought a new chassis VBWRX, tell me what you bought for it. Tell me what you sold it for. Did you take a loss on it? Did you make up for it okay? Am I wrong? Are all cars just depreciating this fast and I just don't have a pulse on the industry? That may be true as well. Thank you so much for all your help on these videos. I have a lot more awesome WRX videos to come. Thank you so much for all the support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider liking, comment, and subscribing. If you leave a nasty comment, that's okay. Negative comment. I might be sarcastic and write something back. But I welcome you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the support. We will catch you on the next video.